Tonight, what we're going to cover is another application that we're going to create in Antigravity using Flutter. And once again, Flutter is so that we can run it on Android, iOS, and Chrome and not have to write 3 different apps. So let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to do is go into Android Studio. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new Flutter project. And this is just an extension add-on that you can add to Android Studio. And what we're going to do is choose the defaults there. For the title, it has to be lowercase. It's case sensitive. And we're just going to call this expense tracker. Okay. And we're going to create a simple expense tracker app. We don't need it for Linux. We're just going to create it for the web, iOS, and Android. Okay. So this is going to build our folders for us. Okay. Right there it is, expense tracker. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Antigravity and we're going to open the folder. So right here, we're going to go into our studio projects, expense tracker. This is the new one. And now some of you that follow me on my videos, if you remember, this is the first time I've really ever played with this. This is actually the third time I think I've opened Antigravity. So I'm going to show you like I'm a newbie. I do know how to code. I've got 30 years of experience in IT. But for me, I want to experience it as a newbie, right? Just fresh out of the box, see what I can do, just barely knowing Antigravity at all. So this is the third time I've used it. I've used Cursor in the past. And so here you get the interface. We are eventually going to switch here to agent mode. That's so that we can actually talk to it like a chat. It's also over here is basically the agent box, right? And in that you got planning, which that's really cool. That goes along and builds it. And so if you were to plan it and you were to say, hey, help me build the database, and it would come back and say, hey, how about we use Firebase by Google? And by the way, all these are Google products. So it's obviously going to ask you if you want to use some Google products like Firebase. But we're going to build this without a database today. We're just going to do something really simple. Now, one thing I've noticed that keeps happening to me is it's not putting the program, which should be like a main.dart file, inside the folder that I tell it. So we're working on this. And the previous times I've tried this, it keeps putting it into the Antigravity folder, which that's supposed to be where the README goes and other files like that. So I'm not sure. I talked to it in another chat session, and it's like kind of denying that it did it. So I don't know if I did something incorrectly, but we're going to see on this time if it does it again. So let's get started with this. For Antigravity, the first thing we're going to do is switch to agent mode. So right there, here's the open workspaces, and maybe this is the problem here. Let's see if this is, let's close some of these other workspaces so that we can't accidentally put it in the wrong folder. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going over to all the workspaces. I'm closing all of them. Okay, so now all we have here is the expense tracker. All right, so I'm going to tell it here. This is the whole complete agent mode. Let's see, we're going to say build an expense tracker app for iOS, Android, Chrome. We just want it pretty colorful. All right, we'll try something, right? And minimalist and minimal list design. Okay. Ask me questions before you build it. Okay. Okay, before you build it, and say, we want to track categories and keep a running total of the expenses on the main page. Okay, so we're giving it the instructions here. It should come back and prompt us, hopefully. Yesterday it didn't on the main page. All right, of the app. Okay, so really basic here. We're just saying, hey, do this. You'll notice here I'm running it in Gemini 3 mode, right? The Pro. I'm just using the basic business plan. Nothing fancy. I'm not using Ultra or anything like that. But let's see what it comes back and says. It's going to do an analysis here. Let's hope that it stays in the expense tracker. Oh, maybe that's my problem here. So what I'm curious about is, all right, what will it say and where will it put it? Studio projects. So there it says it's going to put it in there. But now it didn't come back and ask me questions. Now this product just came out in November. So it seems to me it's very still in the beta mode as far as it goes. Once in a while I'll get into it and it won't even work. It's similar to what I'm seeing in the Workplace Studio. And I would say more often than not, Google puts things out that I would almost say are more in the beta, and they get through it and they fix things as they go. So here we go. It did ask me the questions here. So, all right, as requested, here's 5 questions. So what we're going to do is just 1 is equal to data. Okay, we want to save it local, right? That's basically asking us if we want to use a database. But for this design, we'll just do that. Okay, number 2 is just create their own. Okay. That's for categories. So the first one was, do we want a local database or would we want it with Firebase, basically? Right, we're going to go local just because it's an easier program that we don't have to design the Firebase side of it. In future videos, I'm going to show you guys how to do some Firebase stuff. 3 is design preferences. Let's just randomly pick this. Let's go with something like Sieve, kind of far out there for me. So let's see, 4 is equal to main page details. Sites running total, blah, blah, blah. Do you want the list of recent transactions or simple chart? Let's go simple chart. Okay, I think that'd be pretty cool. Currency, 5 is going to be USD. Okay. All right, so now it says it's going to start coding. Let's see what it does. Okay, and while that's coding, and this will take just a few minutes to code all this, and we should be able to run it. Let me tell you a little bit about anti-gravity. What I've seen is it's still not where Cursor is yet. To me, Cursor's the best, right? Claude Code's really good. I just think Cursor's out of this world. They do a fantastic job. Claude Code you can obviously run in Cursor, but the Cursor interface is just outstanding. The Android Studio, when you load that, that's also a product by Google, right? As of all these are. You'll want to add the Flutter plugin, right? And here by the way, we're coming up with it's debugging itself there. And when we're done with this and we're ready to test, I go back to the Android Studio because it's got some great emulators. We might as well go ahead and get those loaded up. So what you do over here is it's got some devices running. You click on the down arrow. It'll show you what's running. It's got a Pixel 9. So that's already running, right? And so we're going to open the iOS simulator, right? So that when we test it it's an iPhone 16 for test, right? So down here, the simulator's getting opened. And so once you come back to this drop down for Android Studio, it will show you the iPhone 16, right? So let's go back and see how this code's working. Okay, there you go. It's creating the Dart files, which the Dart files are what Flutter runs. And you'll see when we run it, we're going to look for like a main.dart file. And by the way, when you set these up, it always sets up a same demo on main.dart. it's going to set up something basically that does every time you click it, it counts. It does like a counter. So it's running pretty good here. No bugs so far. Looks like we're through step 3 of step 5. Okay. And you can read along with it. Here it's creating the expense.dart files, category.dart files. These are all just local ones. So if we were to build this and put this on the App Store, we'd want to store it probably in a Firebase. I like Firebase because with Firebase, you can utilize their authentication. Think of it as like a security sled, right? You don't want to deal with security. You just want to handle the basic of the app and then kind of the design features. With the security sled, what that will do for you is it'll build like the logins and it'll use the authentication if you want to use 2-factor. What I usually do is pick the most popular ones such as Google logins, Facebook logins, Microsoft logins, and an email login. And then the other thing that it will do on it will store your PDF files as well as your databases. So this looks like it's getting a little bit closer to being done. Here, so you can see here it's building the Flutter, the Dart files here. It's spending chart.dart. Looks like we're on the verification section. So we're on the last part now. It's almost built. It's testing. It's running some terminal commands here. You can see that. Let's see where it puts it. Put it in the test file. Okay. Looks pretty good so far. Kind of curious. Maybe what I got to do is that simulator's not showing up. Maybe what I got to do is close the project in Android Studio and reopen it. I don't know. We'll see though. Like I said, this is just my 3rd time ever using Antigravity. So far it's been pretty fabulous. I mean, for just coming out in November on what it can do. It's such a great value too, because Cursor is quite a bit more expensive than this. And like I said, I'm just using the basic workspace package that comes with the free Gemini version. And I haven't hit any limits so far with it. Okay. So it's finished the expense tracker. Okay. It says it's come back with a dark minimalist design with vibrant gradients. Okay. It's got the local database, interactive charts. Okay. So now it says I can run it here, either from Flutter run. Okay. Let's go ahead and click the open. See what it'll do. Okay, not much. Is it not pulled up the emulator yet? Let's go back into Android Studio and see if this has changed at all. See, there's your main.dart, but that's just all that is the demo. Here, I'll show you that. I don't know why that's. There it is, local storage. Expense app. No, actually that looks correct. Let's take a look. Let's go try this. Let's try it on Chrome from here. Let's see what it says. Okay, it's waiting for the connection on Chrome. So here we go. There it is, expense tracker. Hey, looks like it did it. So let's try it out. Here, it did some pre-built categories, which is actually not what we told it, I don't think. Okay, let's do $25 for food, for the category of food. Note, lunch with client, okay. That's today's date. Okay, save expense. There you go, a little pie chart here. All right, let's do another category. All right, let's do a bill of $100. Okay. And this is cell phone. All right, there we go, total. That's our main page. Looks good, looks good. All right, so let's come back here, though, and say we got, let's see. Let's say we got $500 of office rent. Do other, right? Doesn't let you put a new category in, right? Say office rent. Okay, so let's say we forgot office rent. Let's go tell it to add office rent in. Okay, so there we go. And say, let's go back to it. Okay, let's exit this. Let's go back into Antigravity and say, add a new category for office rent. Okay. And let's have it rebuild that. So just that simple. Now, if any of the other buttons didn't work, as well as like maybe the date, which I guess we didn't even test that. It was just a default. So it's going in there. You can see it's changing the default categories. Okay. It's going to build it again. Okay. All right. Meantime, there's that emulator. We'll get ready for that. Let's close that app. Okay. Well, that was pretty cool. It was actually running. No, that was the task app. It's a different one that we built. Okay. I've added office rent. There you go. Teal color. There you go. Now let's go test it again. All right. Now let's test it, though, in something else. Let's test it on a Pixel 9 Pro emulator. This is really nice. This being able to just test it in every emulator that you want, because I had different Pixel options for the emulator that I could pick in Android Studio. So if I wanted to test it in older environment, right, I could have tested it on a Pixel 7. Here we go. There's our expense. Okay, let's see if I can make this a little bigger. Oops. There we go. So let's do recent expenses. No expenses yet. And you'll notice office rent's there. So let's try that. $500 office rent. Rent for January 2026. Right, 2026. There we go. Let's change the date. We'll say let's say we paid that yesterday. Go save expense. There we go. Now we didn't get a legend with this. This is something we could probably go add. All right, let's test lunch again. Let's see, 25. Let's try the 50 cents, right? Lunch. Okay, there you go. Food category, right? Save expense. There you go. 5% towards food. We'd obviously want to go back and say, hey, let's put a legend in there on the. Let's do that. Use a category legend. On the pie chart. Right, let's on the main page. Okay, let's see what it does. And then when we test it on the iOS, which will be next, let's now see if it's, changed that and added the legend. Okay. So if it added the category legend. So like I said earlier, since we're not using Firebase, this isn't saving anything in the back end. This is just a local database. So in the comments below, if you guys would like to see me code something else, you guys have any ideas that you'd like to see done, go ahead and comment below or tell me what you're working on. Tell me what you'd like to see. Okay. Right here, it's implementing the change for us. Okay, it's implementing the widget. Pretty cool. Should almost be done. Still processing. Still working. One issue found, it didn't like something. Oh, it's having to said something with RiverPod. Notifying user of, there it goes. Okay, check it out. It's added that. So now let's go and try open iOS simulator. Let's see if we can open the iOS. There we go. Let's see if we can open that. Okay. So now let's see if it made our 2 changes. Oh, I ran the dadgummit. I ran the Pixel 9 Pro again. My fault. Let's try to stop that. Over here, let's go load the iPhone 16e. Okay. And let's go ahead and hit the run main.dart. So hopefully this loads the expense program again. So back during our earlier conversation, I said it was loading in the anti-gravity folder last night. I'm not sure if it's because I had other workspaces open or what it was doing, but it is cleaner if you just close all those workspaces up and you're just in the one folder. So hopefully this fixes it here. All right, we might have to go into debug because either it's still running though over here. It's running the Xcode. And by the way, for this test, the other thing that I did load was Xcode, right? So there we go, right there. Got the little expense tracker. All right, let's go try just like we did before. $500 rent, right? Change the date. You always want to change the dates on these. Make sure the date and times always work. Say January rent. Okay, there we go. Legends was added. So isn't that cool? All right. So let's do this. $50 for a client dinner. All right. Under the food category, right? $12.50 for tolls. In Chicago, that'd probably get you through about 1 toll. So I don't miss driving through Chicago. Any of you out there live in Chicago? I don't miss that. I moved to Florida. I like the Florida traffic much better. I try to avoid Miami and Orlando, the I-4. So I'm up around the Jacksonville area. Let's try a couple more. We got the Legend building here. That's pretty cool. All right, let's try one more of these. Okay. Let's see, just internet. Oops. Internet costs, let's say it's $100. Just keep that under the category bills. There you go. So our total expense is $662.50, but pretty cool. So thanks for joining us tonight. Like I said, like and comment below. If you guys got any questions, you guys want to see me do something different, probably next week I'll be shooting a little bit in Cursor some more. Anti-gravity, this, Google, never underestimate them. It seems like their whole ecosystem, they're catching everybody. I personally, I think they've caught ChatGPT. I think they're the best in the business, certainly the best all around, in my opinion. So they just find niche after niche after niche. Just like last week, we went over the Workspace Studio. That's taken on the Zapier. It's taken on the N8N. It's taken on the Make.com. And now you have Anti-Gravity. That's taken on Cursor. They're just taking on everybody right now. So I think it's a bargain for $16 a month, the Google Workspace. It's just incredible what you can do with this. So once again, thanks for tuning in tonight. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.